Welcome to my presentation on illegal immigration. Population and its increase, education and states adopting their own laws, border control and lack of manpower will all be discussed. Americans should become aware of illegal immigration and its impact, not just on population, but education and safety as well. The estimates of the Immigration and Naturalization Service are that 7 million illegal aliens were living in the United States in the year 2000. By the year 2003, the figures of illegal immigrants had risen to 8 million. If you would please refer to your handout. If the current levels of illegal immigration continues, the nation's population will increase from 301 million today to 468 million by the year 2060. This total combines the populations of Great Britain, France, and Spain. The 105 million from immigrants and descendants is equal to 13 additional New York cities. Such a mass of people makes one think about the quality of life. Open spaces would dwindle, more pollution and congestion could result. Then others think that more people create more opportunities for more businesses. This brings up the issue of cheap labor and illegal immigrants. One interesting fact was illegal immigrants come to this country not for benefits but for jobs, and the majority are in fact employed. The children that are born here are American citizens. These illegal aliens are entitled to public benefits. Amnesty could be a solution, but allowing legalization could increase the fiscal deficit from 10 billion a year to 28 billion, and low income levels would produce modest level tax payments. It isn't easy to project costs and benefits into the future. Economists and demographers consider that immigration's economic impact has a positive effect on the American economy as a whole and the income of the native-born American worker. One of the key findings is that immigrants have complemented the native worker and raised the native worker's productivity and income. Our economy offers little opportunity for anyone with little or no education. Education is the key, which brings me to the next point to reflect on. Illegal immigrations come to America and other countries for a better life. Some immigrants come here with children that they already had, and the children who are born here are considered American citizens. So for the children who came here and were not born here, it can be a nightmare. Once again, I'll ask for you to look at your handout. All of these children attend school and most graduate from high school. In 2001, Congress introduced the DREAM Act. This is the Development, Relief, and Education for Alien Minors Act. This act was created to address the situation encountered by young people who were brought to the U.S. as undocumented immigrant children. To qualify for immigration relief under the DREAM Act, a student must have been in the United States since they were 15 years old or younger, and they must have been here for at least 5 years. Immigrant children must also demonstrate good moral character. In a 6-year period, it would require immigrants to graduate from a 2-year college or complete 2 years toward a 4-year degree. Immigrant children may also serve in the United States military for 2 years. At the end of the 6-year period, if the student has met the requirements and maintained good moral character, permanent residence would be granted. Furthermore, immigrant children face barriers to higher education. They are unable to work legally in the U.S., and they live in fear of exposure by immigration authorities. The DREAM Act helps these immigrants achieve some of life's goals, as well as being given permanent residence. To continue to punish these people because of their parents' actions long ago is un-American. The United States Supreme Court ruled in 1982 that undocumented children have a right to a free education from kindergarten through grade 12. Colleges and universities in Arizona have taken a different approach. 3/4 of Arizona voters approved a new law, which is Proposition 300. Proposition 300 prevents students from paying lower in-state tuition, receiving state financial aid, are enrolling in adult education classes. Proposition 300 has impacted many students and has confused educators. 10 states have endorsed laws that would allow illegal immigrants who graduate from high school to pay in-state tuition in public colleges. Advocates of this approach argue this will help students obtain a higher education, and a higher education would then pay off economic dividends by training people to become part of a better educated workforce. Educators still hope Congress will enact federal laws to lessen pressure on institutions to figure out how to respond to the constant influx of people from across the borders. And this brings me to my next point in my research: border control. The southern border of the United States and Mexico extends for 1,951 miles. It is nearly impossible to complete border control coverage of the U.S. and Mexico because it is so vast. Army personnel have been called on to prevent illegal crossings and drug smuggling, while military units use infrared devices and helicopters to stop such activity as human smuggling. Today there are 11,000 U.S. Border Control officers. Now again, I'll ask that you refer to your handout. Due to the cost, logistics, and opposition to the construction of a 2,000-mile triple-layer fence at the U.S.-Mexico border has been postponed. Construction of the fence would reduce illegal crossings by 90%. The United States-Canadian border is said to be the longest in the world and is called the international boundary. This border extends 5,522 miles. The security of this border is manned only by 1,000 law enforcement officers and none are military. In 2005, police arrested 3 men for building a 330-foot tunnel under the Canadian border. The tunnel was to be used to smuggle drugs into the United States. In comparison, the Mexican border has more illegal immigrants than the Canadian border, and one reason is Canada's border has a very mountainous terrain and heavily forested areas. In conclusion today, become aware of illegal immigration and its impact on population, education, and safety. It is obvious that population has increased enormously because of illegal immigrants. The education system in some states has adopted their own laws in regards to immigrants, and border control needs much more support and manpower. Become involved. Contact lawmakers and push for the passing of the DREAM Act. So many people today do not want to be involved. Ask lawmakers about the immigration laws and do some research and push for reform. Thank you.